Hello, future medical professionals. Welcome to an exciting session on synapse, where we unravel the complexities of human biology. Today, we delve into Chapter 19 of Class 11 Biology, Excretory Products and their Elimination. Specifically, we'll be focusing on the disorders that can affect this vital system. From basic concepts to advanced competitive insights, we'll cover it all across 4 levels: easy, medium, hard, and hardest. Get ready to explore the fascinating world of kidney health and its challenges. Let's start with the basics. In our easy level, we'll identify the most common disorders of the excretory system. Our excretory system, especially the kidneys, is crucial for removing waste. When kidneys fail, waste products build up, causing a serious condition called renal failure. This means the kidneys stop filtering blood effectively. You might notice symptoms like constant fatigue, weakness, or swelling, especially in your legs. Renal failure can come on suddenly, which we call acute, or develop slowly over time, known as chronic. When severe, treatments like dialysis or even a kidney transplant become necessary to keep the body functioning. For instance, someone with long-term uncontrolled diabetes might eventually develop chronic kidney failure. Another common issue is kidney stones, also known as renal calculi. These are hard deposits that form inside your kidneys, usually from mineral salts like calcium oxalate. They can cause excruciating pain and sometimes blood in the urine. Luckily, treatments range from simply drinking more water and pain relief to medical procedures like lithotripsy, which breaks the stones, or even surgery. Then there's uremia, a severe condition where toxins, particularly urea, accumulate in the blood due to failing kidneys. This can lead to symptoms like nausea, vomiting, and extreme fatigue, and is a clear sign that the kidneys are in distress, often requiring immediate medical intervention like dialysis. Now that we've covered the basics, let's test your understanding with a few questions. Take a moment to read each question carefully and choose the best answer. These questions will help solidify your grasp of the fundamental disorders we've just discussed. Remember, understanding these basic concepts is your first step towards mastering this important chapter. Good luck! Ready to dive a little deeper? In our medium level, we'll explore more specific disorders and delve into the different types and causes. First up is glomerulonephritis, an inflammation of the tiny filtering units in your kidneys called glomeruli. This inflammation hampers the kidney's ability to filter blood, leading to a buildup of waste. It's often triggered by infections, like a strep throat, or by autoimmune diseases where your body's immune system mistakenly attacks its own tissues. Symptoms include blood and protein in your urine, swelling, and even high blood pressure. Next, let's distinguish between types of renal failure. Acute renal failure is a sudden, rapid loss of kidney function, often reversible if caught early. It can be caused by severe dehydration, certain medications, or sudden significant blood loss. In contrast to acute, chronic renal failure, or CKD, is a gradual and progressive loss of kidney function over an extended period, which is often irreversible. This condition commonly stems from long-standing health issues like uncontrolled diabetes, persistent high blood pressure, or genetic conditions like polycystic kidney disease. CKD progresses through various stages, eventually necessitating dialysis or a kidney transplant. Moving on to kidney stones, we know they're hard deposits. But did you know there are different types? Calcium oxalate stones are the most common, but others include uric acid, struvite, and cystine stones, each forming under specific conditions. Factors like low fluid intake, a high salt or high protein diet, certain medical conditions, and even genetics can influence their formation. Uremia is a serious clinical syndrome that develops when severe kidney failure causes a dangerous accumulation of nitrogenous waste products and other toxins in the blood. This toxic buildup affects nearly every system in the body, leading to a wide range of symptoms from neurological issues like confusion and seizures to cardiovascular problems like pericarditis and gastrointestinal issues such as nausea and loss of appetite. Untreated uremia can be life-threatening. The primary management for uremia involves renal replacement therapy, which includes either hemodialysis, where a machine filters the blood, or peritoneal dialysis, which uses the lining of the abdomen as a natural filter. For a definitive long-term solution, particularly in end-stage renal disease, a kidney transplant is often the best option. Excellent work! You've navigated through the medium level of excretory disorders. Now, it's time to reinforce your learning with 5 practice questions. These questions are designed to test your understanding of glomerulonephritis, the types of renal failure, different kidney stone compositions, and the systemic impact of uremia. Read each question carefully, think critically about the concepts we've just discussed, and select the most appropriate answer. This is a great opportunity to check your progress and deepen your knowledge. Good luck! Ready for a challenge? At the hard level, we'll analyze the complex mechanisms behind these disorders and connect them to broader physiological theories. Let's delve deeper into glomerulonephritis. A key mechanism involves immune complex deposition. Here, antigen-antibody complexes, often formed after an infection like strep throat, get trapped in the glomeruli. This triggers inflammation and activates the complement system, leading to significant glomerular damage. A classic example is post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis. In some cases, cell-mediated immunity plays a role, where T lymphocytes directly attack glomerular cells. Another severe form is anti-GBM disease, where antibodies specifically target the glomerular basement membrane, causing rapid kidney failure. Other types include rapidly progressive glomerulonephritis, IgA nephropathy, and minimal change disease, each with distinct underlying pathologies. Now, let's explore the intricate pathophysiology of chronic kidney disease. A critical aspect is progressive nephron loss. As nephrons are damaged, the remaining healthy ones initially compensate by hyperfiltering and enlarging. While this maintains the glomerular filtration rate for a while, it ultimately burns out these overworked nephrons, leading to further damage. Another major contributor is the activation of the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, or RAS. This activation leads to both systemic hypertension and increased pressure within the glomeruli, accelerating proteinuria and scarring. CKD also causes metabolic bone disease, or renal osteodystrophy, due to impaired vitamin D activation and phosphate retention, leading to secondary hyperparathyroidism and brittle bones. Furthermore, decreased erythropoietin production by the damaged kidneys results in anemia. Understanding renal replacement therapies is crucial. Hemodialysis involves drawing blood from the patient and filtering it through an external artificial kidney called a dialyzer. This process relies on diffusion to remove wastes, osmosis for fluid removal, and ultrafiltration for precise fluid balance. It requires special vascular access, such as an AV fistula. In contrast, peritoneal dialysis uses the patient's own peritoneal membrane, the lining of the abdominal cavity, as a natural filter. Dialysate fluid is introduced, allowed to dwell, and then drained. While PD offers greater patient autonomy, it carries a higher risk of peritonitis. For kidney stones, advanced management includes extracorporeal shock wave lithotripsy, which uses external shock waves to break stones. For larger or complex stones, ureteroscopy or percutaneous nephrolithotomy are endoscopic surgical options. Fantastic effort on the hard level. You've tackled complex mechanisms and detailed treatments. Now, challenge yourself with these 7 practice questions. They cover the immunological basis of glomerulonephritis, the intricate pathophysiology of chronic kidney disease including RAS activation and metabolic bone disease, and the principles behind different dialysis modalities and advanced kidney stone management. Analyze each option carefully, recalling the connections and theories we've just discussed. This is your chance to really solidify your advanced understanding. Keep up the great work. Welcome to the hardest level. Here, we push the boundaries, exploring competitive depth, cutting-edge bioengineering, and the latest scientific insights into excretory disorders. Get ready to think like a researcher. Let's start with the molecular mechanisms of glomerular injury. Podocytes, specialized epithelial cells, are vital for the filtration barrier. Damage to these cells, known as podocytopathy, including effacement or detachment, severely impairs the slit diaphragms, leading to significant proteinuria. Genetic mutations in proteins like nephrin or podosin cause inherited forms of nephrotic syndrome. Mesangial cells, which provide structural support, can also contribute to injury. Their proliferation or matrix expansion, often driven by growth factors like TGF-beta, leads to glomulosclerosis. Ultimately, these processes converge on tubulointerstitial fibrosis, the common pathway for most CKDs, where fibroblasts activate and deposit excessive extracellular matrix, causing irreversible scarring and loss of function. Kidney transplantation, while life-saving, comes with significant immunological challenges. Histocompatibility matching, particularly above blood group and human leukocyte antigen, or HLA, matching, is crucial to minimize the risk of rejection. We categorize rejection into hyperacute, acute, and chronic types. Patients require lifelong immunosuppressive regimens, including induction therapy at transplant and maintenance drugs like calcineurin inhibitors, antiproliferative agents, and corticosteroids. These drugs, while vital, carry risks like increased infections, malignancies, and even nephrotoxicity. Ongoing research aims to induce immune tolerance, potentially allowing patients to reduce or even eliminate immunosuppression, improving long-term outcomes and quality of life. The field of bioengineering is revolutionizing renal replacement therapy. Imagine a wearable artificial kidney, or WAK, a portable, miniaturized dialysis device that offers continuous therapy, significantly enhancing patient mobility and quality of life. The challenges are immense: miniaturizing pumps and filters, managing power, ensuring efficient waste removal, and preventing clotting without systemic anticoagulation. Even more futuristic is the implantable bioartificial kidney, which integrates synthetic ultrafiltration membranes with living renal tubule cells. This bioreactor aims to mimic not just filtration but also the metabolic and endocrine functions of a native kidney, potentially reducing the need for immunosuppression. And looking ahead, organ printing and tissue engineering use 3D printing with patient-derived induced pluripotent stem cells to create functional kidney tissue or even entire organs. This groundbreaking research directly addresses the critical donor shortage and the persistent problem of immune rejection by offering patient-specific, immunologically compatible organs. Finally, let's explore diabetic nephropathy, a major complication of diabetes and a leading cause of end-stage renal disease. Its pathogenesis is complex. Chronic hyperglycemia leads to the formation of advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, activation of protein kinase C, and increased oxidative stress. These molecular changes trigger a cascade resulting in glomerular hypertrophy, mesangial expansion, thickening of the glomerular basement membrane, and podocyte injury. This ultimately culminates in glomulosclerosis and tubulointerstitial fibrosis, causing a progressive decline in the glomerular filtration rate. The clinical course typically progresses from microalbuminuria, an early sign, to overt proteinuria and eventually ESRD. Management is multifaceted, demanding strict glycemic control, aggressive blood pressure management, especially with ACE inhibitors or ARBs for their renoprotective effects, lipid management, and sometimes dietary protein restriction. Newer agents like SGLT2 inhibitors and GLP-1 receptor agonists have also shown remarkable renal benefits, independent of their glucose-lowering effects. You've truly engaged with some of the most advanced concepts in excretory disorders. Now, let's tackle the first set of 5 challenging questions. These questions delve into the molecular intricacies of glomerular injury, the critical immunological aspects of kidney transplantation, and the innovative bioengineering solutions emerging in renal replacement therapy. Think deeply about the detailed mechanisms and cutting-edge research we've just discussed. Each question is designed to test your comprehensive understanding and ability to apply advanced knowledge. Take your time, analyze each option, and choose the most precise answer. This is where your competitive edge will truly shine. Alright, let's continue with the next 5 challenging questions. This set focuses on the specific pathogenesis and advanced management strategies for diabetic nephropathy, including the role of molecular pathways and neopharmacological interventions. We also touch upon the latest diagnostic biomarkers and the future directions in organ engineering. These questions require you to synthesize information from various advanced topics and demonstrate a thorough grasp of the subject matter at a competitive level. Remember to consider all aspects discussed, from the underlying causes to the most innovative solutions. Keep up the excellent work, and let's see how well you apply your deepest understanding. And that brings us to the end of our in-depth exploration of excretory disorders. We've journeyed from basic definitions to the most advanced competitive insights, covering the crucial aspects for your NEET preparation. We hope this comprehensive session has not only clarified your understanding but also sparked your curiosity for further learning. For more such engaging and detailed educational content, make sure to visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for regular updates and more high-quality educational resources. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing towards your medical dreams. See you in the next session.